Margaret Oliphant. An introduction. Margaret Oliphant Wilson was born on 4th of April 1828 in East Lothian in Scotland, but spent her childhood in Midlothian, Glasgow and Liverpool. She wrote from a young age and in 1849 had her first novel about the Scottish Free Church movement, a cause her parents sympathised with, published. Her next, Caleb Field, a couple of years later, led to a lifelong association with Blackwood Magazine, to which she contributed more than 100 articles and reviews. Despite the short time she lived in Scotland, much of her writing displays strong connections in terms of settings, themes, and its oral tradition. In May 1852, she married her cousin, Frank Wilson Oliphant, an artist working in stained glass, and settled in Camden, London. Together they had 6 children, but tragically 3 died in infancy. Unfortunately, Frank developed tuberculosis, and so they moved in January 1859 to Florence, and then south to Rome, where he died. Margaret was devastated and was left with the burden of supporting herself and their 3 children. She returned to England and with her prolific literary work increased her commercial reputation and the size of her reading audience. Margaret worked tirelessly to sustain her popularity with her supernatural tales and historical fiction. Unfortunately, her family life continued to be fraught with tragedies due to the further death of her one remaining daughter, financial ruin for her alcoholic brother, and unfulfilled ambitions for her 2 sons, followed by their deaths in 1890 and 1894. She had settled in Windsor near Eton, where her sons had been educated in 1866, and was buried there following her death on 25th of June 1897. In this story, a family's return from India to Scotland is soon brought to a state of tension when their fragile son experiences hallucinations. The pursuit of truth brings many consequences.
The Open Door by Margaret Oliphant. I took the house of Brentwood on my return from India for the temporary accommodation of my family, until I could find a permanent home for them. It had many advantages which made it peculiarly appropriate. It was within reach of Edinburgh, and my boy Roland, whose education had been considerably neglected, could go in and out to school, which was thought to be better for him than either leaving home altogether or staying there always with a tutor. The first of these expedients would have seemed preferable to me. The second commended itself to his mother. The doctor, like a judicious man, took the midway between. "Put him on his pony and let him ride into the high school every morning. It will do him all the good in the world," Dr. Simpson said. "And when it is bad weather, there is the train." His mother accepted this solution of the difficulty more easily than I could have hoped, and our pale-faced boy, who had never known anything more invigorating than Simla, began to encounter the brisk breezes of the north in the subdued severity of the month of May. Before the time of the vacation in July, we had the satisfaction of seeing him begin to acquire something of the brown and ruddy complexion of his schoolfellows. The English system did not commend itself to Scotland in these days. There was no little Eton at Fettes, nor do I think if there had been that a genteel exotic of that class would have tempted either my wife or me. The lad was doubly precious to us, being the only one left us of many, and he was fragile in body, we believed, and deeply sensitive in mind. To keep him at home, and yet to send him to school, to combine the advantages of the 2 systems, seemed to be everything that could be desired. The 2 girls also found at Brentwood everything they wanted. They were near enough to Edinburgh to have masters and lessons, as many as they required, for completing that never-ending education which the young people seem to require nowadays. Their mother married me when she was younger than Agatha, and I should like to see them improve upon their mother. I myself would...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?